Nick Hawkins outside London Stadium. Post-match reaction replaces the post-match pint, which I don't know when we last did a post-match pint, to be honest with you. So that looks dead for now.
Got to get it home.
West Ham 1, Watford 0. It was, boys, it was a very, very laboured performance tonight. It wasn't pretty at all, but
tired at times. Certainly in the first half as well. Look, Watford had a lot more energy about them.
I'm not surprised. Kidderminster took us 120 minutes, into the game. It's mental.
We looked like we played 120 minutes on Saturday.
I mean, it's one of them ones, isn't it? You come off the back of them FA Cup games. I mean, that was only, you forget, it's only 3 days ago. They've played a long time on a boggy pitch, and you've had to bring on your big stars before you think you have to. You just scrape through, the emotional tiredness maybe.
After a lot of time off as well, we had that big break, straight back into that, playing all that time, like I said, on the ship pitch, and then straight back into this 3 days later. So I can understand a bit of tiredness, but it was a boring game, wasn't it? It was just a flat boring.
What was the problem tonight, Scott?
Too much going on outside of football. I think that affected the start of the game. It really did. Zuma, I think someone said it in the fan cam. Zuma got a lot of the ball early doors to get all the booing and everything out of people's systems and stuff like that, and that played a part, because the first half we wasn't at the races at all. When you look at the performance of the two teams, you would sit there and say that Watford were the team pushing to the top and we were the team scrapping for our lives.
It was scrappy from us. Like, it was passes going astray. We weren't moving the ball quickly enough. I mean, we said, certainly down the right-hand side as well, there was always a switch on, but we were just too slow moving the ball, and in the middle there was a huge gap in the middle at times.
It was predictable, wasn't it?
We weren't getting players into it.
Yeah.
We're just moving it too slowly. But Watford, fair play to them. They pressed us.
It was a typical Roy Hodgson type of team to play against, wasn't it? We've seen that a lot of time when he was a Palace manager, these types of games, and frustrating. But they didn't really have much going forward. But again, at the end of the day, neither did we really. We was flat up top, mate.
Yeah. I thought we switched the gear. As soon as Lanzini came on the pitch, I think he changed the game. I think he gave us more energy, more invention. He's probably the only one out there that, when you think about the games, he didn't play in the Kidderminster game. He hasn't been on international duty, so he's probably the freshest guy out there, and I think it showed.
Yeah, you're right. It needed that something, it needed that little spark to kickstart it. I thought we were a bit better second half, but that you are right. That Lanzini coming on did lift. The movement was a lot better going forward. There was more players getting on the ball a bit more. The tempo raised. You saw in the first half so many times that we had opportunities to play the ball quickly, and we took that extra touch, and then the pass goes astray because we're putting pressure on ourselves, letting Watford shut us down.
I think one of the big problems is Antonio not being at the races, because he's our focal point, and we, everything drives through him, and you want him to be on the ball and play these balls to him, and his movement today was so poor. And obviously he's come back from Jamaica and all of that duty, and the fitness just isn't there, and I think that it hinders us massively.
I'll be honest, a lot of the time we were knocking it up and asking him to bring it down or win a header, and we had no one around him.
I think that happens a lot.
Yeah.
The long balls, mate. And like I said that to you, didn't it? It reminded me of Andy Carroll. We used to play it long to Andy Carroll, and he used to knock him down, and there was no one there for him to win the knockdown. So.
But that's the thing. Instead, when we were talking about that, instead of trying to put a long ball to put him through or put him into the channel, it's a long hoof ball up into the air and hope he's going to win it.
It's not even like a lot of the time that it was a ball over the top with pace. It was floated up. Defenders are going to eat that up all day.
Yeah. And they just double up on him because there's no one else around him.
I mean, I could see it from probably better from where I was than where you sat today, but there was so many times we could have gone through a gap. Yep. There was so many balls on, and I don't know whether they was frightened to. I mean, the atmosphere today felt weird. It was strange. It was because of everything that's happened off the pitch. We'll talk about that in a second, briefly. But everything that's happened off the pitch, there was no clapping when they came out, which I thought it was odd. There was no music. It was just an odd atmosphere. Obviously, there was a few boos when he first got on the ball. But what I would say is, I think the players were scared that too many of them tried balls and foulings, that the crowd would start to get frustrated, would start to get on their back, and things can. What things are like here. Sometimes they can turn very toxic very quickly.
Yeah, no, you are right, mate. And that's the thing, as you said. Certain things off the field and what goes on, like with the transfer window, not bringing anyone in, the performance against Kidderminster, there was a lot of pressure on Moyes and the team today going into this game. The fact that you're playing a Watford side that are scrapping for their lives down at the bottom of the league, there was a lot of pressure, and that also showed in that first half performance that it was everybody looked worried about to misplace a pass. You know, Soufal kicked the ball off the pitch, tried to play the ball down the line twice. You know, and there was just seemed that added pressure. But again, what you saw, the amount of times that there was a quick ball on wide. Instead of playing that quick ball wide, it took 3 or 4 players. Instead of going from the right back straight over to the left back, we were going right back, centre mid, back there, centre half, then going to the left back. By that time, the opportunity and the space had been closed down.
Yeah. Once we got the ball into midfield, it was the only option that was on was sideways or backwards pass.
Yeah.
There was nothing.
And I said to you, how many times do we get in the position, especially on the edge of the box? And it's just routine. There's a line of defenders there, and we just go sideways, backwards a bit more, come back to where we had it.
Lose out.
Yeah, and there's no ball into the box.
The thing is, I thought Creswell's delivery did let us down a lot today. When we did get into them spaces, he was overhitting, or like there was the chance to Antonio and stuff, and he just weren't at the races today. And that's the thing is, he's so good with his delivery usually, and when he gets on the ball, when he's in those areas, you need him to be putting them balls in accurately, and he just weren't at it today.
There was a couple of times in the first half, like down in the corner, there was like Bowen and Suchet, like the quick little triangles or little one-twos, cut them open.
Yeah,
but we did, we do it once and that was it.
Let's be honest, we were probably lucky to go in at half time if 0-0. You know, Fabianski pulled off the save, which I think was the only shot on target in the first half.
And had a couple just wide as well.
Did we force Foster into save in the first half? I think one, weren't it?
There was one he come out and smothered.
We hardly.
Well, apart from the goal, I don't remember him making a save.
He made a couple.
Yeah, Foster tipped one onto the post.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah.
But we hardly test keepers. I've seen it time and time. The Kidderminster game, Leeds and all of that. We don't really just shoot, and that's where you look at the goal that Bowen took. And that is the good thing about Bowen, is when he gets in them situations, he has a go. And the goal was lucky, but he makes the luck.
That's it. Exactly. And you look at the other chance that Bowen had, the one that Foster tipped onto the post, or around the post. It come from 2 touches, boom, get it out your feet, smash it. And like you said, when you're in that box, you need to hit shots.
Have a go,
because deflections happen that leads to goals, you get a corner. We said when Creswell went down the wing, the ball he played in, why didn't he drill it across the floor into Graham's favourite corridor of uncertainty? It's...
He did say he was going to get that one
in
there, didn't he?
But the worrying thing is that Creswell plays that ball. The only player there is Antonio. Now, when Antonio's out wide and receives the ball out wide, there's no one then busting the gut to get in the box.
No, yeah, I agree.
And this is something that,
that's what Suchet used to do.
Yeah, and he doesn't do it because he's defending more. Benrahma, Fornells both naturally drift in to receive the ball. They're not looking for that ball over to the back post. No. This is something where when things are not going right, when you're not playing well, it's things like that where you need players to come on and just stay wide and attack the back post at the last minute.
We miss so many big clear chances, man. Oh, that Lanzini one for Antonio later in the game where he cuts it back and Antonio goes under his foot, man. I see so many of those, and we've really got to work on that.
Listen, we have to address the elephant in the room, I guess. There's obviously a lot of controversy around our central defender today. I mean, he's played today. Should he have played?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
At the end of the day, look, what he did, I think every single person will agree what he did was disgusting, and he does need to be punished for it.
I won't say what I think about it.
No, exactly. He needs to be punished, but personally, I think it was right to play him. It was to get it out of the way and get it done and dusted. To me, the way you lot, I didn't see the commitments to the game, but the way you all said to me that Diop played, I don't think Diop's head's in the right place, and I think today, him playing, he would have just crumbled the same way he did against Watford. It's at the end of the day, it's his job. That's happened outside of football.
But at the same time, the thing is where I think about that, right? And look, I see Nicky's video, and I was outraged by it, and I think he's a sick fuck, right? But if you take all of that and emotions out of it, take him out of the firing line, at least. And I see what you're saying. Diop and Dawson, it's a disaster. Elise looks quality. He looks class in the under-23s. Give him a go. And I just think now, the stick we're getting, we're getting dragged through the mud, the club, because we've played this geezer, and Moyes isn't helping himself with his comments coming out and saying, well, he's one of our better players and I'm letting the club deal with it. It's just like, look, if you at least take him off of the thing now, it looks like, okay, we're addressing something, we're doing something. Nah, it looks like just nothing.
But I think when you look at the situation, and I've had my say this morning, so I'm not going to say too much, and we will be addressing it, more in depth on the podcast tomorrow, I guess. But I don't care if he's a player for this club. I don't care what his job is and all that. If it was a member of the public, if it was you or me, there would be investigations, which I can't understand why the police have dropped the investigations. Yeah, they'll push, but it's a criminal offence. He's been caught red-handed with video evidence of him abusing an animal.
Yeah.
Look, people. I've heard people. I see a lot of people today saying, yes, like there's some people saying he shouldn't play football again, which I think is a bit extreme. You can be rehabilitated and all that sort of thing, but he really needs to give back to the community. I don't think he should have played tonight. I think a suspension would have taught him a real lesson.
But it's outside of football.
It doesn't matter. So
it's outside of football.
Yeah, but
Mason Greenwood was outside of football.
But a tweet.
Hold on. A tweet is outside of football.
Yeah.
I've seen players get banned for tweets that they said 10 fucking years ago.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's a guideline within the FA that the rules of the FA, and there's nothing about.
I can't agree. I just.
But that's it. It's a difference
of
the thing
opinion.
is, Scott, is like what we said. If anyone done it in our jobs, right, and I guarantee you, I'd be sacked, right, because you're bringing the company into disrepute. He's affected the brand of West Ham United. He's affected our image, and he's brought West Ham into disrepute.
If it had been Andrei Yarmolenko, they'd have sacked him off.
Yeah, cool, but that's it. But that's at the end of the day, that's their choice to do that.
There's no such thing as outside of your company, outside of your job, outside of football, because once you're there, you're representative. It's like whatever you tweet. Okay, it's your personal Twitter account.
But it's still
tweet something dodgy,
I
mate.
get what you're saying.
Then you're gone. They'll use that. That's why companies go through your old tweets to check out you before you join the job. And like Nicky said, everyone was so defensive of Zuma because he's such an important player. If it had been Yarma, if it had been Diop, everyone would have been slated. It would have been much more unified. But people don't, because it's a key player. Same way some people was defending Greenwood at Man United because he's a big player.
Do you know what I see in the newspaper this morning? When I walked into the news agents this afternoon, I see in the paper, Premiership player kicks his cat. It wasn't Kurt Zouma kicks his cat. It was Kurt Zouma
kicks his cat.
Yep, in a West Ham kit. It wasn't Kurt Zouma in an Adidas tracksuit. It was Kurt Zouma in a West Ham kit. Premiership player kicks his cat. Yeah. Who's he dragging through the mud? Kurt Zouma or West Ham?
I'm not saying he's not dragging through the mud, but at the end of the day, Moisey chose to play him. Moisey chose to put him in the firing line and get it all down and done. So it happened outside of the game. It happened outside. It's him. Look, if they want to look into it criminally, they can look into it criminally. The Met Police have dropped it. That's fine. But look, it is what it is. I ain't condoning what he did. What he did was disgusting and wrong, and I've seen 10 times worse in the job that I do with what people do to animals.
Mate, yeah,
right? So I've got my opinion is my opinion, and I feel that he has been punished by the club. Yes, I'm with you. He does need to do some sort of give back, some sort of community type service.
He needs mental help.
That is the
and people aren't even considering, and no one's talking about this, is the child involved. Because it's not, if you don't give a shit about animals, you don't give a shit about cats, but you care about kids. He's got his kid to hold this cat while he smacks the fucking cat.
I totally agree.
You're basically teaching that kid that violence is okay. You're making that kid numb. That's gonna fuck the kid up. Imagine how he's.
But that's the thing. I think
he's a bad parent.
It's the fact that it's doing it like it's funny.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's the thing. Look, I'm sure we've all gone home to a pet and smacked it on the nose once or twice. Or kicked out the arse.
But not in that way.
But not in that way. No, not in that way. He's active. The thing that wound me up the most about it all, and this is the thing that pushed me over the edge. As I said, we've all gone and smacked our dog on the nose. We've all gone and give it a little tap up the arse every now and then. We've all done that. Yeah, we've all done it. Yeah, no doubt about it. But the thing that annoyed me the most about that situation is he kicked that. He didn't kick the cat. He drop kicked the cat in the rib. He could kill the cat.
Of course it could.
Don't give a shit what
Yep.
anybody
Yeah,
says.
yeah, yeah.
That cat weighs about a stone.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a Premier League
He's
footballer.
fucking over 6 foot.
Yeah,
mate.
6 foot, built like a brick shit house. Could have killed the cat there and then. He didn't then just leave the cat to run away.
No.
He then actively chased it round with a fucking slipper, slinging it at the fucking cat, and then he's picked up the cat, got his kids to go, and then he give it an almighty clump
massive
that could have
clump.
killed it.
And
again.
I
yeah,
guarantee
look.
you, this isn't an isolated incident. The actual caption in French said, "It begins." His brothers, basically, it's like, here we go again. But this is the first time. This is when you've been caught on camera. So now I'm to believe, like, oh, he loves
Yeah,
the cat.
look.
He was treating the cat well. Now just one
I
incident.
think some of these
he's-
Premiership
and-
footballers, and I will say Premiership,
away.
I will say
totally
Premiership footballers in a way, because I see a comment today that inferred that I was being racist when I refer to him as them people. I am not referring to them people as a black person,
No.
a French person,
A footballer.
a footballer,
Yeah.
a Premier League
Yep.
footballer. That is exactly what I meant when I say them people. I don't mean anything else by it, and anyone that infers that I did can go suck a fucking dick, to be quite honest with you. But they need to be. Look, I know I see people saying it's not football's problem, society problem, blah blah blah. Listen, they get raised in a certain way. I'm sure that Kurt Zuma's parents has never raised him to do that. But what it happens is, when you go outside of that bubble, when you give a young boy 10, 20 million pounds, he goes off on his own, and then you surround him with all people going, yeah, that's funny, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's a
that's-
laugh,
that's
isn't it?
it.
That's funny, isn't
It's-
it? Go on, do that. You can do it. You can get away with it. That is when it becomes a problem, and that is when these football clubs need to step up. Right, and I've said the same with Mason Green, and I would be a hypocrite if I sat here and because, all right, we're not talking about the same severity of incident as Mason Greenwood, but it's, to be honest with you, it's hurting defensive people.
It's a severe incident.
It's a
what he's
severe
done.
incident,
Yeah.
yeah. And what it is, these clubs, right? They drag these people. They're assets to them. They use them and they fuck them off.
They have a duty to care.
They have a duty of care
Yep.
to these people
Yep.
to make sure that they're going through society properly. And as I said before, they'll sit them in a media room and train them how to talk to a camera. They'll sit them in a media room and train them how to not say what they're meant to not be saying. All of that sort of thing. But what they seem to be failing to do is teaching them how to be proper fucking people.
But the thing is, Nick, you shouldn't need training on, don't be cruel to
But
animals,
it's a
because-
different situation.
you know what I mean?
It's a
Yeah.
different
It's right,
situation,
it's
Graham.
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying,
yeah.
but you're not listening to what I'm saying. I told you, his parents probably would not have raised him like that. But when you get into these bubbles, they're in a bubble. They can't walk out on the street like me and you. They haven't got the guidance of me and you. They've got all of this money and all of these people round them telling them, yeah, that's all right. Yeah, you can do this. You want to go and fuck that girl behind your wife's back? Yeah, go on, go and do it. What are they going to do about it? You want to have sex with a girl? Who's going to tell you no? They get all of that fed into them. And after a little while, mate, that brainwashes you into thinking these things are correct. And that's what these clubs, and that's what I'm saying, it's not West Ham's responsibility to make sure Kurt Zuma's a nice person, but what it is it's West Ham's responsibility to turn around and go, is he doing the right things outside? Is he getting the right guidance? Who's he hanging about with? Who's he got in his ear roll? They know the people that are the wrong uns, the agents
Exactly. Yep.
and all of that sort of
Yeah.
thing. They know what them people are about. Look at the way Declan Rice conducts himself. Look at the way Kurt Zuma conducts
Exactly.
himself.
Yeah, but that's it, and it goes to any players, because from a young age, like you said, they're not told no. They're given all the power, put on a pedestal. Clubs come and fight over them, offer them to buy their family houses and this, that, and the other. People worship these players like they're gods, and it goes to your head.
And sometimes, right, and I'm not making accusations to Kurt Zuma's family, but sometimes it goes to the fucking family's head. Of
course it does.
Which again tells them, yeah, go on, go and do what you want.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care what you do. I'm getting an house. I'm getting a car. I'm getting looked after. You're paying my rent. You're paying my mortgage.
The thing is that I can't remember who it was. There was a footballer.
Jen Terry's mum was a thief.
No, there was a footballer who tried to commit suicide. Was it Calderwood? Someone tried to commit suicide, and he said, "You're told from a young age when you're a footballer, this is when you eat. This is when you eat what you eat. This is when you go to bed. This is what you do."
When you get the freedom.
Same as when they're in the military. Right, and now in no way am I comparing working in the military to working in football, because working in the military is 1,000 times more difficult, and stuff like that. I'm just saying the comparison of the regimented. This is what you do. This is when you do it. This is how you do it. Then when they're out of football, and then like you said, when there's people behind them who have not got their best interests
At heart. Yeah.
Now you look at the Zuma situation, right? What he did was wrong. Why is his brother filming it?
But his brother's
Do you know
a
what I mean?
footballer as well.
Yeah,
His brother's
and
in the
but
same
this is the mentality of the thing is that For Zuma to do that, he thinks it's okay. For his brother to film it, he then thinks it's okay.
For him to get his kids involved, he thinks it's okay.
And this is also the problem: is the people that surround them will sell them out for a couple of quid. And that's the thing,
including brothers.
And that's the problem where the club should be saying. The clubs need to look after the players a bit better. You can't look if that's the way Zuma is towards animals. You're not going to change that, right? You can rehabilitate him and try and get him the message sent through.
The thing is, mate, one thing we've learned is not just footballers, from all the Me Too, all the other stuff that comes out with the island where they had all the fiddling, all that. What's his name? A lot of these rich and powerful people have a warped sense of morality. You get that rich and powerful, you think that the normal rules and laws of morality don't apply to you, and that is a problem. And until we start holding players and people accountable, they're going to keep carrying on like that, right? And that's the problem.
I agree.
And the thing is, Dan, that is society, because there's going to be people out there who are going to see what Zuma did and think there's nothing wrong with it.
They should start taking things outside of football, Scott, a lot more seriously.
Yeah, of course.
For the game. Because you're bringing that disrepute in, like the racism stuff. They don't take it seriously enough. They never have. They probably never will. Yeah, because it's all different. Like and I'm not linking.
They sort of pay lip service.
Yeah, exactly. They don't really mean it. No, they don't really want to punish
they're role models and ambassadors of
you know
the
what
game,
they should
and
do
that's the problem.
with these players now. Obviously, Adam Johnson was a different case. He's gone to prison. He'll never play football again. Ched Evans, wrongly accused, but probably will never play football again. But then you've got the likes of Kurt Zouma, now Greenwood, doing these stupid things. They need to make an example of someone. And I think if the FA don't want to do it, and everyone else, I think the clubs should start making examples, because it might make them think twice.
Yeah. Because you call yourself a family club, but you got to uphold family values and looking after and not abusing the animals is that animal is supposed to be part of Zuma's family. At the end of the day. So
let's leave it there, boys. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's post-match reaction. We'll be back building up towards the Leicester game. I think you're going, aren't you? Maybe. Possibly.
We didn't mention we're back in the top four. Let's at least get that positive.
That's a big positive.
Back in the top four. Man United dropped points.
Hey, we won and got a clean sheet. On a poor performance.
West Ham win. Top four.
I don't think we should be talking about the top four just yet. I think let's get through a few more games.
I just want to enjoy it when we're in there, because there might be a long period of time we might not finish there. Every time we're in the top four, I'm just enjoying being there, because we don't know when we're not in there.
If we go further in the FA Cup and we go deeper into the Europa League tournament, I think it's just going to catch up with us.
But let's just enjoy being there.
I'm enjoying it.
Look at the table, screenshot it.
I'm with you, mate. I'm enjoying being there. I'm enjoying watching Declan Rice grace our football club.
We didn't even mention him today. Like, he was just classic Declan Rice, wasn't he?
Different level.
Right, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow with a podcast. So if you're not a patron, go join up with Patreon if you want to hear the full audio. But there will be a simmered down version on about Friday, probably now, wouldn't it? It'll probably be Friday for the simmered down version on YouTube. Anything else left to say, boys?
I think we covered it, mate.
I think the one thing is left to say is, come on, you
irons.